That was not impressive. Luckily, it's only November. Bruins did not look good in that one. Here on Locked On UCLA.
You are Locked On UCLA, your daily podcast on the UCLA Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, everybody, to this reaction episode of Locked On UCLA Basketball team winning 68-50. Yikes, over Lafayette, a game they trailed a good portion into the first part of the second half before a 27-5 run at the end of the game dominated the majority of the storylines. Welcome, everybody. I'm Zach Anderson-Yoxsimer. Thanks for tuning in to this reaction. It was not pretty whatsoever for Mick Cronin's bunch. Probably not going to be too happy with this team's offensive production. Again, the problem is UCLA is not going to have much shooting this year. Still no Berke, and no Aday Mara doing much. That's not boding well in the first couple of games. Overall, though, UCLA does scrap by with a way to win, and the storyline was, I asked prior to this game, can they shoot? Can they rebound? Which international freshman would step up? And I'd like Will McClendon versus Andrews. One of those guys had to step up. I was looking more McClendon. In the end, it was Dylan Andrews who came together. 18 points, 9 shots, 3 of 5 from 3, 4 assists in 29 minutes. And he had an absolute show in the second half on a clinic of Chris Paul-esque fadeaway elbow jumpers to help put away the Leopards. In a game, the Bruins really struggled. An 18-point win probably is going to dictate and tell the true story about how much closer this game truly was. The Bruins made 3 of their last 3 shots. The Leopards missed 14 of their last 16, I think 11 in a row. Scoreless for, 11 minutes in this contest in that second half, 11 minutes in a row. UCLA was able to put this game on ice by pretty clutch defense. A lot of Leopard misses from downtown. They finished 27% from 3, 8 of 30, where more than half their shots came from 3. And luckily for the Bruins, Lafayette was not red hot. They did enough to be up by 3 in the first half, and yet UCLA was able to get some good defensive stops, switch the lineup. Elon Feeble comes off the bench. He was the best international freshman of the day between Vide and Mara. Feeble, who was coming off the bit of a scooter injury in the opening night, played 0+ minutes. If you looked at the box score, this time was the most instrumental of the new international freshman, 24 minutes, and showed off his athleticism, his Jalen Clark-esque comparison coming through tonight. Andrews, pretty good. Adem Bona was just not there offensively tonight. 1 for 7, 6 points, 6 boards. The athleticism, obviously, there, a little bit of some foul trouble in 26 minutes, yet here he was making plays all over the floor. Lazar Stefanovic, 11 points, 4 rebounds, defensively important. Don McLean consistently talking about how important he was on both sides of the floor. Glue guy, and played 34 minutes. That's a guy for UCLA who I'm going to repeatedly tell you guys, he will be on the floor 30+ minutes unless it's foul trouble or Mick Cronin yanks him. He will be on the court so much more than everybody else this season. It's ridiculous. And then, second in minutes, Sebastian Mack didn't have the best of shooting nights. 18 points, 32 minutes. Comes through, didn't start. They let McClendon get some run time. 16 minutes where he didn't get a single bucket made and 2 shots, 3 rebounds. And it looks clear that Mack will be the starter. Clearly his offense is there. Got most of it done from the free throw line despite a little bit of foul trouble. Was able to stay on the floor. And a Aday Mara show 11 minutes, 5 points, a couple of rebounds. Leaves a lot to be desired. Hopefully he develops and grows a bit more. Still young, 18. And we want him to be a significant part of a twin post, a double big post for UCLA. That just doesn't seem to be the case with Mara yet early on in his freshman campaign. The questions remain as to when Berke will be available to play. Hopefully game 3. You'd love to see the Bruins get him in at least some game action before UCLA heads to Honolulu to play the Maui Jim Maui Invitational against number 5 Marquette currently, and then potentially a date with Kansas and the rest of the loaded Maui Jim Maui Invitational. At the moment, when you look around the Pac-12, you see SC dominating Bakersfield, Collier making mid-air reverse layups, number 1 recruit in the country in this current class. You had Arizona at Cameron Indoor winning a road game against number 2 Duke. That just makes it look all the more worse for UCLA that they struggled at home against Lafayette, a team that got blown out in their first game. But there's a lot to grow. Hopefully, Berke is, as he has been advertised, scrappy defender, energetic, can shoot it a little bit to help this poor shooting three-point UCLA Bruin team. 36% today, but 5 of 14. UCLA, again, what does Mick Cronin emphasize? Can they get rebounds if you're going to play big? They did not get rebounds. It was equal, 30-30 against Lafayette. Most importantly in this game, the Bruins took care of the basketball. If they were shooting poorly, couldn't get rebounds, and turned over the basketball, this game would have been a Lafayette easy win. Easy win. That's not the case because the Bruins, despite struggling to shoot the basketball for a good portion of the first half, found ways to put it in the bucket after shooting over 50% in the second half, and largely took care of the basketball the whole game. 7 turnovers while they forced double that of their opponents. And just like Mick Cronin's team of old and like last year's team, they found to make the opponent pay. The Leopards' turnovers turned into 19 points off turnovers. The thing I didn't like about this game was the fact that, one, they didn't dominate points in the paint. And 2, Lafayette took advantage of those offensive rebounds. Second chance points, 14 of them in this game. That's not going to bode well when you're playing much bigger teams, much better teams than Lafayette later in the year. Coming up in a couple weeks, heck, that next game might not be a gimme after the way UCLA looked these opening 20 minutes and the opening 20 minutes against St. Francis. They did not look impressive from the jump in 2 consecutive games. That's not good. Now they can grow. But, man, they're making Jeff Goodman look like a genius with the way they've played a couple of games. Couple wins, you scrap by, you pull away, you win by 18, 31. Very unimpressive games. And I like to be optimistic, but, man, they're making people who didn't put them in the top 25 early on, Jeff Goodman, who said they're going to miss the tournament, look a little smarter with the way they looked in the first couple of games. Now, I don't want to get too crazy and full-on jump on board. That's not where I'm going with this. But there's a lot to grow for this team, which I kind of knew going in, but it's ugly seeing it in this game as opposed to seeing it against Marquette, right? That's the difference between playing a top 5 team in the country versus struggling at home with Lafayette. Lot to be desired, but again, who stood out? Mack is probably going to stay in the starting lineup for a very long time. Could go in and out being a true freshman, but there's so many of them that he's going to stay in the starting lineup. Andrews, he shot the basketball very well tonight. If that happens consistently, UCLA will be better off for it because there are some significantly upgraded backcourts in the Pac-12 this season. USC's dramatic improvement with Collier alongside Boogie. Right? That is what you're going to have to face to try and win the Pac-12 this season. And then, hey, can they run the offense through Bona? That's a question mark we're going to look at going forward. UCLA wins it 68-50. This is an immediate reaction. Not impressive, but the Bruins get it done. That's important. 2-0, keep the winning streak at home alive. I think that winning streak will fall at some point this year, unfortunately to say, but it's still alive. They have the longest active home winning streak at Pauley Pavilion across the country. Now they got to grow. And Berke's got to get eligible and see if he's the real deal. Because Mata has not impressed the first couple of nights. Vide certainly hasn't. Feeble finally getting some run time. He did. So let's go. UCLA fans, get those hands up. But after, I tell you more about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. That's what brings home the winning trophy. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, whether it's superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, and more. Whether you're looking for speed, power, style, eBay Motors, they've got you covered because they've got over 120 million plus parts for your ride or die. So you'll find exactly what you're looking for. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's going to guarantee to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. So all the parts you want at the prices you want. And it's easy to turn your car into an MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. That's going to do it for Locked On UCLA today. Football, everything in between coming up pretty soon. Stay tuned. Hit that subscribe and like, comment, review. I'm Zach Anderson-Yoxsimer saying so long. 8 clap time, baby. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. UCLA. UCLA fight, fight, fight. This has been Locked On UCLA. Go Bruins.